Hello, everybody, and welcome back to our YouTube channel. You've got me, Kate, and Ali this week, and we're going to be discussing how dog listening can really impact the dog's life, but also the owner's life. And so, what I wanted to start off our conversation with today was about this magical moment that we all experience as dog listeners when we're teaching people dog listening, that aha moment, that really powerful moment where everything just clicks and the dog guardian goes, "Oh, oh, I get it now. This all makes sense." And it really softens them. And then actually from that moment, we then see progress escalate quickly from that moment. So Ali, I didn't know whether you wanted to talk about just like a moment that moment for you and what that looks like, particularly working with clients.
Yeah, it's a lovely moment, the aha moment. And
Mm.
I would say it's generally about something really peaceful that happens within the dog. It's often a full body sigh of release or a full body lie down and then a sigh, or a tail that used to be tucked underneath is now just nice and relaxed, or maybe it's always been up and rigid and now it's relaxed. You know, it can be in the eyes. That was where it was for me when I first started this. It was in Chili's eyes.
Yeah.
It was a real softening rather than a quite sort of tense look in the eyes. There was a softness.
Yeah.
Yeah, always about softness and peace for me. And that's where it's seen in the dog. And that's what gives the aha moment to the person. Yeah.
And I think it was really lovely you just saying those things because they're very subtle things. And with dog listening, you learn to start recognizing those subtle changes within your dog because
Yeah.
they all piece together to what we're trying to create for our dog, which is just a really stress-free world for them.
Yeah.
So they can truly relax. But yeah, those subtle changes.
Yes. And that moment when I mentioned the big sigh or the big lie on the side, that is this quiet, it's subtle for us, but
Mm.
it's huge confirmation that the dog now feels safe enough to be vulnerable, to relax, to sleep. And what is greater than that?
Yeah. And then the owners, the guardians of that dog, sometimes it takes a little bit of time for them really to, for us as dog listeners to convince them that this is the right approach because we as humans want instant results. We want the magic wand. And we know, through this approach, but also in lots of other approaches to dogs as well, it just doesn't work like that. And we just want this magic kind of person to come and go, here you go, your dog's fixed. Um, and so when we start teaching dog listening to people, there does need to be this kind of rapport and this trust built with you for them to be able to apply dog listening and to learn it alongside their dog long term. And sometimes you know that they don't quite fully believe it at first, but they're just doing what you say because you've built that trust with them. And then you might come into a couple of weeks and then you get that email or that message or that phone call going, I get it now. I really understand it. It's all kind of come into place and I
Yeah.
really get it now.
I,
And
I think often it's a photo, isn't it, Kate? It's just
yeah,
that one photo of the dog asleep. That,
yeah,
for us, that's more successful than um, walking calmly on the lead. That photo of the dog relaxed, completely relaxed, splayed out, snoring, eyes closed. Because I remember now when we brought Kenny home, he was 10 years old, and he was a bit of a yo-yo dog, back and forth in rescue into kennels. And I would say, gosh, I can't even think, maybe months and months, he wouldn't sleep properly. He would always have his eyes open. And, it's that moment when we first were like, oh gosh, look, he's got his eyes closed.
Yeah.
That's the joy of it.
And then you
That's
go,
what we're hoping for.
everything's working. It's all
And
starting to.
then that has the next effect on us. It makes us feel happy, makes us feel relieved
Yeah.
for him, and yeah, really, really grateful.
Yeah, 100%. And I don't know about for you, but the amount of clients that I've worked with that then go, "Oh, it all makes sense. This all makes sense. I've never ever been explained this dog's explained to in a way like this.
Yes.
Now it makes sense." Because previously they'd been taught to do with their dog, right? You need to train your dog to do this, 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 and this. And now, when we start explaining dog listening, it's all the reasons behind those behaviors, and it all makes sense. And because now they know the reason why their dog is behaving the way they do, they can almost have empathy for their dog and start to see
Mm.
the world through the eyes of their dog and therefore start to make shifts long term. Whereas before it was almost just putting a sticking plaster over it and just hoping for the best. Whereas now they've got that buy-in, they truly understand this dog in front of them and start to make those shifts for them. And that those moments when we're teaching dog listening, they're just wonderful, aren't they? Because you really can see that magic starting to happen for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm thinking of a family whose dog used to just kind of prowl around and not rest at all, just as the family were relaxing, trying to relax on the sofa after dinner in the evening. That was the time that the dog would start kind of being a bit reactive, a bit barky, not being able to settle. And it was making them uneasy and them, reactive as well. Um, the moment that they were able to restore the dog's sense of safety, calm, it almost completely relieved, the whole household.
Yeah.
They were able to reclaim their evenings. And so
Stop the
just
cycle.
that exactly, stop the cycle, scratch the record,
Yeah.
peace is reclaimed in the household.
Yeah, nice. I'm kind of thinking as you're talking there about one of my students inside my one of my online programs, all about separation anxiety. And this student joined. I remember I had a discovery call with her first, and she was just, I just don't know what to do. Like it wasn't just separation anxiety. Literally, there was this stress and anxiety was popping up in all areas of this dog's life. They couldn't get him in the car because he was just so reactive. He would start biting and like attacking them in the car. He was guarding areas of the house so nobody could walk through certain passageways of the house because he would guard them. When they left, he would howl and bark. He would run off and what it was just popping up everywhere. It really was. And they just they had those awful thoughts of rehoming, putting to sleep. They just didn't know what to do because it was literally ruining their life. And once they learned this approach, and I supported them with that, and they did my online course, but also had additional support with me too. And I remember having my last kind of follow-up call with her, and she was in tears because she was like, "Do you know how much this has changed our life?" And then she talks about when they went out for dinner and they looked at the camera inside and looked at their dog happily asleep, calm and relaxed. Um, and they just was like, this is just wonderful. This is just incredible that and she was like, and all it needed was for us to shift what we were doing. Um, yeah, and there were still things that they were working on, but that as a dog listener, to help a family to create a calmer world for them and for their dog is, I don't know, so rewarding, isn't
It
it?
really is. Yeah, I was just going to ask you how you felt about that as the one guiding that transformation.
Well, I think we as dog listeners become quite invested in working with our clients, and we want to help them as much as we can, and I think when they start to see those changes and you have put in a lot of time and energy to working with them and you see that, I mean, I get invested too. I was emotional too for
Mm.
them that they were able to do this, but I just gave them the information. They were the ones that consistently, calmly, and convincingly applied the approach. And so I was just there as, to kind of support them in that journey, but they did it, they did it
Yeah.
themselves.
But it does feel good to guide them, doesn't it? It kind of satisfies for us as the professional, it satisfies that need for um, purpose and contribution. Certainly, that's how I felt early on, and it has just grown and continued, because you end up really, really guiding peace
Yeah,
and relationships, often always with the dog, but often within the family as well. Sometimes we're giving an animal a second chance.
yeah,
And yeah, it for me, with my history of debilitating chronic illness over the last 15 years, it has still allowed me to feel useful and feel like I can contribute once I'd worked out my way of being a professional dog listener. Um, so it's yeah, that feeling of guiding transformation and and helping is really important for me,
I
and
think
I know for you as well.
it's giving people permission to stop doing and striving with their dog. And I think we get a lot of the people that we work with, they get caught up in this. I need to fix the dog. I need to fix the dog. And they're striving for this version of their dog that they want. And I think a lot of our work as well is giving people permission to stop doing that. And sometimes when you give that person permission to stop, you can see that guy, oh, I don't, oh, thank God I don't have to do that anymore.
Mm.
And just learn to be with your dog and truly understand them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really amazing work, and the transformations that we see as dog listeners in families and households for dogs and for their owners is just wonderful.
How does it feel for you? Are you good at accepting or receiving gratitude, Kate? Because I'm not very much, but I'm getting better at it.
Um, like gratitude for.
We can't thank you enough.
Yeah, yeah.
You've changed our lives.
Yeah, I think at first it was, I suppose I just said it before actually. It was like, yeah, I just gave you the information, you did it. And I think yeah, being having gratitude having somebody say thank you and be really, really grateful for what you've given them. At first it can be a bit of a imposter syndrome, like, "Well, I didn't do anything." But yeah, it over time, yeah, you do realize the impact that you're having, because it happens over and over again, and you're like,
Mm.
oh, this is really
Yeah.
rewarding work to do,
Yeah.
really fulfilling work. Yeah, definitely.
I've been a bit British about it, I think, over the years, a bit like you. It's like, well, it's not me, it's you.
Yeah, yeah,
But it's a team effort, isn't it? And
yeah,
we we get better and better at presenting the information and figuring out the people that we're working with. They in turn need to trust us
yeah,
and put the work in. So yeah, it's a team effort. And I think what I've worked on for myself is receiving gratitude with gratitude, but also knowing that it helps fuel me for the next difficult case, should that come along, because there are a number of difficult cases that we have to deal with, that we choose to deal with. Uh,
yeah.
so it's a nice cycle.
Yeah, and I think it's celebrating those moments as dog listeners together, isn't it? And I think with inside our community of professional dog listeners now that we have inside the school, it's a really wonderful environment to celebrate those moments together, and to, to give each other permission to celebrate as well, rather than looking at the next case. Go, actually, no, I did a really good job here. And so yeah, we provide those kind of opportunities as well for our students to feel supported in those moments as well, which is wonderful.
Mm.
So yeah, if you're listening to this and thinking, this sounds like a really wonderful career, it is. And you might want to find out a little bit more about the dog listening approach. You might want to find out a little bit more what it takes to become a professional dog listener. And that's actually a conversation that we're going to be having with Julie next week, isn't it, Ali, about what it takes to become a professional dog listener. And also, we're going to be looking at what the course actually looks like inside as well. What does it look like? How does this journey to become a professional dog listener, what does that actually look like? What will that entail? So if you are wanting to find out a little bit more, then you can actually contact us before those videos. You can either send us an email, you can book in a discovery call with us as well if you want to have a chat about what that would look like for you and whether this is the right path for you. And remember, please, to like and subscribe this video. It really helps us to get the dog listening word out there. And it also gives you an opportunity to know when we've posted a new video as well. So thanks so much, Ali, for Teddy's come to say goodbye as well. Thanks so much for your time today, Ali, and it was really lovely conversation. Thanks.
Thanks, Kate. Thanks, everyone.